What would you do if you noticed people younger than you starting to take your spot or become more popular? Fight back, right? Well, that's kind of what's happening with Queen Camilla. After working her way into King Charles's heart and household, she's now faced with a royal shock. It turns out that the rest of the family still doesn't fully embrace her, and other royals, like Prince William and Princess Catherine, seem to be getting all the attention. And if that wasn't enough, there's Lady Louise, who's been quietly stepping into the spotlight and has now become one of King Charles's favorites. In fact, the king has already decided what role Lady Louise will have, and that's really rubbing Queen Camilla the wrong way. She's not happy about it, and tensions are rising within the royal family. Stick with us as we take a deeper look at these behind-the-scenes family dramas, especially the brewing clash between Queen Camilla and King Charles over Lady Louise's role. So, who exactly is Lady Louise? Before diving into the drama between her and Queen Camilla, let's take a quick look at who this young lady is. Lady Louise was born on November 8, 2003, at Frimley Park Hospital in Surrey, after a rather dramatic dash to the hospital. Her mother, Sophie, who was the Countess of Wessex at the time, was rushed there by ambulance from their home at Bagshot Park. Her father, Prince Edward, wasn't there for the birth, as he was away on an official visit to Mauritius. Louise's arrival was a bit of a medical emergency. She was delivered by emergency C-section due to placental abruption, which caused severe blood loss for both her and Sophie. She was transferred to a neonatal unit at St. George's Hospital in London for extra care, while Sophie stayed in Frimley Park until she was well enough to go home. Lady Louise's full name was announced a bit later, on November 27, 2003. It's a long one: Louise Alice Elizabeth Mary. She was baptized in the private chapel at Windsor Castle on April 24, 2004, by the Dean of Windsor, David Connor. Her godparents include Lady Sarah Chatto, Lord Ivar Mountbatten, Lady Alexandra Aitken, Francesca Schwarzenbach, and Rupert Elliot. So she certainly got a well-connected set of people looking out for her. Lady Louise was actually the last royal child to wear the original royal christening gown, a significant piece of royal history. When she was born, she had a condition called esotropia, which caused her eyes to turn inward. She underwent surgery in 2006 to correct it, but the operation didn't work. However, by late 2013, Louise received further treatment that successfully fixed the issue. She started her schooling at St. George's School at Windsor Castle before moving to St. Mary's School in Ascot in 2017. During her time there, she picked some pretty interesting A-level subjects, including English history, politics, and drama. Louise also took part in the Duke of Edinburgh's Award, a prestigious program that encourages young people to challenge themselves in various activities. Now, when it comes to her role in the royal family, Louise seems to stay a bit more in the background compared to some of the other royals. But that doesn't mean she's not involved in the royal events and traditions. She's still part of the family's public life, but she doesn't seek the spotlight in the same way as some others. Despite her more private nature, her involvement with royal duties is clearly growing, which makes her an important part of the younger generation of the royal family. In 2011, Lady Louise had the honor of being a bridesmaid at the wedding of Prince William and Kate Middleton, a moment that surely made her a part of one of the most memorable royal events. Then, in August 2018, she joined her mother, Sophie, the Countess of Wessex, on a visit to Hlar Marina in Portsmouth Harbor, where they met a group of young girls working towards earning their Royal Yachting Association qualifications. That same month, they also attended the final of the Women's Hockey World Cup in London, as Sophie is the patron of England hockey. To mark Louise's 15th birthday, mother and daughter made an appearance on Strictly Come Dancing, enjoying the show from the audience, and they also took in the International Horse Show at Olympia in London. In September 2020, Louise joined her family at Southsea Beach for the Great British Beach Clean, supporting the Marine Conservation Society, a cause close to her heart. After the passing of her grandfather, Prince Philip, Louise accompanied her parents to a church service at the Royal Chapel of All Saints on April 11, 2021, and later attended his funeral on April 17th. The following year, in March 2022, she participated in the memorial service for Prince Philip, and in June she joined her family on the balcony at Trooping the Colour. She also took part in the Platinum Jubilee National Service of Thanksgiving and the Platinum Party at the Palace. solidifying her role as an active and involved member of the royal family. After the passing of her grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II, Lady Louise took part in a poignant moment of remembrance. Along with her brother James and 6 cousins, she stood vigil for 15 minutes by the Queen's coffin at Westminster Hall on September 7th. Later, she also joined the rest of the royal family for the state funeral. Then, on May 6, 2023, Louise was present at the coronation of King Charles III and Queen Camilla, continuing her active role in royal events. The next day, she attended the coronation concert at Windsor Castle. Since these significant moments, Louise's involvement in royal duties has only grown, which, while pleasing King Charles, has reportedly caused tension with Queen Camilla. The Queen, it seems, feels that the young princess's increasing prominence is starting to overshadow her own presence. But before we dive into the details of this royal rivalry, let's take a closer look at who Queen Camilla is. Queen Camilla's path to royalty is far from traditional. Born on July 17, 1947, at King's College Hospital in London, she grew up in East Sussex and received her education at the Montfermeil Finishing School in Switzerland. Unlike many royals, Camilla wasn't born into the royal family, but she did come from a wealthy background. Her father, Major Bruce Shand, hailed from a Scottish aristocratic family. He served in the British Army and eventually retired as a major. Her mother, Rosalind Cubitt, also came from a prominent family, known for owning large estates in both England and Scotland. Camilla's grandfather, Henry Cubitt, was an affluent builder and politician, making it clear that her upbringing was surrounded by wealth and privilege. As a child, Camilla developed a love for reading, which she inherited from her father, who would often read to her. She also grew up with dogs and cats, and her childhood was filled with outdoor adventures, including riding horses. She joined the Pony Club, and her skills earned her rosettes at local equestrian events, which involved everything from speed races to riding games. Camilla had a childhood that many could only dream of, and she's openly spoken about how perfect it was in an interview. It wasn't just about the wealth she was born into, but also the love and support she received, which shaped her into the confident person she became. According to biographer Giles Brandreth, Camilla's upbringing was nothing short of privileged, and her childhood was something that many would envy. Her education was top-notch, too. At just 5 years old, she started attending Ditchling Village's mixed school, and by the age of 10, she moved on to Queen Gate School in London. Schoolmates remembered her as a girl who radiated strength and confidence, qualities that were likely fostered by the nurturing environment she grew up in. This solid foundation helped her later in life when she faced challenges that required resilience. Camilla didn't just shine in social situations, she was also a stellar student. She studied French at the University of London Institute in Paris for 6 months, immersing herself in both the language and the literature. On March 25, 1965, she made her debut at a formal event, marking an important milestone in her young adult life. Afterward, she moved out of her family home and shared a flat in Kensington with her friend Jane Wyndham, embracing a new chapter of independence. Eventually, Camilla moved into a bigger flat in Belgravia, where she shared it with her landlady Moya Campbell, the daughter of the 4th Duke of Abercorn. During this time, she worked as a secretary for several firms in London's West End, and as a receptionist for the decorating companies Sybil Kayfax and John Fowler in Mayfair. However, things took a turn when she was fired for being late to work after attending a dance. Despite this setback, Camilla didn't let it bother her too much. She had other passions to focus on, like horseback riding and painting. Although her artwork wasn't exactly gallery-worthy, most of it ended up in the trash, she continued to enjoy her creative outlets. With a childhood filled with love and intellectual curiosity, Camilla grew into a confident young woman. But little did she know, her life would eventually lead her to the heart of the British monarchy. Stick with us as we dive into her fascinating love story with King Charles. And just when you thought you knew all there was to know about the royals, you might want to think again after hearing how 2 senior members of the royal family lived their lives. Camilla first met Prince Charles in the 1970s at the home of their mutual friend, Lucia Santa Cruz. They hit it off and started dating, but marriage wasn't on the cards at that time. Prince Charles was considered too young. His family also advised him to have several relationships before settling down, but when he was ready, he should find a noble, well-mannered virgin to marry. Camilla and Charles's relationship was just one of those early flings, with some members of the royal circle viewing her as an unsuitable match for the heir to the throne. Meanwhile, Camilla was also seeing Andrew Parker Bowles, a lieutenant in the Blues and Royals, with whom she had a previous romance. On July 4, 1973, she married Andrew in a Roman Catholic ceremony at the Guards Chapel, Wellington Barracks in London. Their wedding was the society event of the year, with 800 guests and a number of royal attendees. It was a grand occasion, but little did anyone know that this would not be the last chapter in Camilla's complex relationship with Prince Charles. In 1974, Camilla and Andrew had their first child, Tom, who became Prince Charles's godson, followed by their daughter Laura in 1978. Despite being married into a Roman Catholic family, Camilla remained an Anglican. After 20 years of marriage, Camilla and Andrew started living separately, and in December 1994, they filed for divorce, which was finalized in March 1995. Just a year later, Andrew married Rosemary Pittman. However, before their divorce, both Camilla and Prince Charles were involved in extramarital affairs, Camilla with Charles and Charles with Diana. Princess Diana famously referred to their marriage as a three-person relationship, publicly blaming Camilla for the breakdown of her marriage. This all came to a head with the separation of Charles and Diana in 1992. In a 1994 TV documentary, Prince Charles admitted to his ongoing relationship with Camilla. After their divorce, Charles and Camilla's relationship remained a subject of public scrutiny, especially following the tragic death of Princess Diana in 1997, which sparked widespread grief and negative reactions. When Camilla and Prince Charles finally went public with their relationship in 2000, it was met with mixed reactions. But by 2005, after their marriage at Windsor Castle, Camilla officially became the Duchess of Cornwall, taking on her new royal title. A lot of people watched the wedding ceremony, including Prince William, who still had some unresolved feelings about his dad's divorce from Princess Diana. Camilla, who was once the Duchess of Cornwall, is now the Queen of England. But even though she's made it to the top, Camilla really had to fight to earn the public's attention and acceptance. So, how did she do? What do people really think of her? Well, if we look at the fourth season of The Crown, the global audience got a closer look at the messy breakup between Princess Diana and Prince Charles, and of course Camilla Parker Bowles' role in it. The show stirred up a lot of emotions and caused major controversy, especially around the affair between Camilla, Charles, and Diana. While the show suggested that Charles and Camilla continued their relationship even after Charles married Diana in 1981, some news outlets like the Daily Mail didn't quite buy that. They argued that the affair didn't really pick back up until 5 years after the wedding. The Crown really captured some of the intense emotions of the time. Many people still remember Diana's famous radio interview from 1995, when she said, "There were 3 of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded." That line, along with her stories of how unhappy she was in her marriage, helped paint her as the victim, with Camilla being seen by many as the homewrecker. When the show aired, social media exploded. Even viewers who weren't around back then had strong opinions, with many picking sides based on what they saw on screen. One Instagram comment summed it up: "Camilla, the world hates you. Princess Diana forever." It's clear that a lot of people still have unwavering support for Diana, no matter how many years have passed. One comment read, "A leopard can't change its spots. Please stop with the Camilla photos, and shame on you forever, Camilla." Another viewer shared their dislike of the Queen Consort, linking it directly to The Crown despite the show's disclaimer that it's a dramatization. For some, The Crown felt like a window into the truth, even if it was fictionalized. One viewer wrote, "Yes, it's a dramatization, but the reality of what happened was awful," expressing sympathy for Princess Diana's tragic situation. However, not all reactions were so harsh. Some viewers defended Camilla, pointing out that the show didn't always stay true to the facts. They emphasized that the series shouldn't be taken too seriously because it's ultimately a fictionalized version of events. Many of the critics of Camilla weren't even alive when Princess Diana was in the public eye. with some viewers admitting they based their opinions purely on what they saw in the show. One person commented, "The Netflix show is just that, a TV show. Charles and Diana had an arranged marriage, and yes, 3 people plus the children suffered because of that." While Camilla's journey has been far from perfect, having been called names like Rottweiler by the press, she has remained loyal to Charles and the throne. Today, she's an active participant in the monarchy and continues to navigate the difficult path of a royal, still somewhat overshadowed by Diana's legacy. Can you imagine being at the heart of one of the most talked-about love triangles in modern history? A love story that would change the British monarchy forever and spark worldwide debates for years to come. That's what happened with Prince Charles, Princess Diana, and Camilla Parker Bowles. Their saga is a dramatic tale of love, betrayal, public duty, and personal desire. The big question is, can Camilla rewrite the narrative that's followed her for so long? In her early years, was the hatred Camilla faced a true reflection of who she was, or just a shadow of a troubled past? Over time, though, she managed to win people over with her charity work and philanthropy. Things were finally looking up for her. But just as the Queen was starting to gain some love, she realized that other members of the royal family were now getting more attention than she was. This shift in focus led to a bit of a feud, one that started with Diana's children. But it didn't stop there. It grew to involve other royals, and now it even includes Louise. So, what's all the fuss about? Let's dive into Camilla's rivalry. There's been some hidden tension between Camilla and her stepchildren over the years. Even though the royal family tries to keep it under wraps, the underlying issues are still there. The whole thing goes back to when Camilla was in a relationship with King Charles while he was still married to Princess Diana. That affair caused serious problems in Charles and Diana's marriage, which of course affected their sons, Prince William and Prince Harry. Diana despised Camilla for causing the split, even going as far as to call her the Rottweiler, basically saying that Camilla was like a dog who gets her teeth into someone and won't let go. This affair also had a big impact on Diana's mental health, and in 1996 she finally decided to divorce Charles. Despite their split, Diana kept her title as Princess of Wales until her tragic death a year later. The royal family didn't exactly support Charles and Camilla getting married, mainly because Camilla didn't fit the royal requirements for such a union. The royal family and the public didn't exactly welcome Charles and Camilla's marriage at first, but over time, people started seeing a different side of Camilla, and their view of her softened. However, Prince William and Prince Harry still held a grudge against her. They saw her as the other woman in their parents' marriage, which led to their parents' divorce and, sadly, their mother, Princess Diana's death just a year later. Because of this, Camilla's life in the royal family was far from easy. She was pretty much isolated and didn't get the warm welcome she might have hoped for. Even after her marriage to Prince Charles, she was given the title Duchess of Cornwall instead of Princess of Wales, since Charles was already the Prince of Wales. This title felt like a reminder of how she wasn't fully accepted by the royal family. The tension between Camilla and her stepsons created a huge ripple throughout the royal family, and it's been an ongoing issue ever since their marriage. Things didn't get easier with time, and this rift continues to affect the family dynamics to this day. In 2022, after Queen Elizabeth II passed, Prince Charles became King Charles III, and Camilla became Queen Consort. With Prince William next in line to the throne, Camilla worked hard to improve her image with the public. One of the ways she did this was by forming relationships with the British press, sharing stories that painted her in a better light. But not everyone was impressed. Harry, for one, didn't hold back. He accused Camilla of trying to boost her reputation at the expense of others in the royal family. Even after all her efforts, Camilla's popularity still isn't exactly sky-high, ranking only 9th among the royals according to Yuga polls. Meanwhile, Harry and his wife Meghan Markle, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, made headlines when they stepped down from their royal roles. Their decision raised a lot of eyebrows and sparked questions about why Harry would want to leave his position as a senior royal. There were rumors that Camilla wasn't too kind to Meghan, mainly because Meghan wasn't born into royalty and was a divorcee. It was later suggested that Harry and Meghan just wanted to break free from royal duties and experience something closer to an ordinary life. Harry's decision to never return to the royal family has really put a wedge between him and his father. who misses him and hopes to rebuild their relationship and bring him back into the fold. Camilla has also had her fair share of tension with Princess Catherine, William's wife. Since her marriage to William, Catherine has been adored by the public, and her popularity has only grown. Her charity work and efforts from a young age have made people see her as the real queen material. This is where Camilla starts to feel the heat. When Camilla married Charles, it was clear Catherine was being seen as the future queen and a figure who would carry on a legacy, much like Diana's. Meanwhile, Camilla was often labeled as the wicked stepmother, the one who was part of the mess that led to Charles and Diana's divorce. It's said that from the very beginning, Camilla wasn't fond of Catherine. She reportedly looked at her with envy and even gave her nasty nicknames behind her back. Now, while Catherine would never try to steal Camilla's spotlight with her looks, youth, or charitable work, the truth is, she often found herself overshadowing Camilla, whether she meant to or not. This time, it looks like Camilla's not stepping back so easily. At Queen Elizabeth II's funeral, things got a bit tense between Camilla and Princess Catherine. Camilla reprimanded Catherine, which didn't sit well with Charlotte, who decided to ignore Camilla after she complained to King Charles. It didn't end there. During King Charles's coronation, Camilla acted a bit selfishly, inviting all 20 of her family members while refusing to let Catherine invite any of her close relatives. This made Catherine pretty upset, and she made the decision not to curtsy to Camilla during the ceremony. The rivalry between Catherine and Camilla didn't just stop at family drama. It spilled over into a bit of a fashion battle, too. Since Queen Elizabeth's passing, Camilla has apparently told Catherine to tone down the bright colors in her outfits. But Catherine isn't one to back down. She continues to wear bold and vibrant colors, often outshining Camilla, even when Camilla herself goes for the same look. As Camilla tries to boost her royal image, Catherine keeps her cool, interacting with people effortlessly. Things took a more serious turn when Catherine had to undergo chemotherapy for cancer, and several nasty rumors began to spread. But when Catherine completed her treatment and returned to royal duties, even if not fully, her popularity soared, overshadowing Camilla in every way. The support and admiration Catherine received only made her position stronger, and it helped solidify Prince William's role as heir apparent, something some royal members had previously opposed. Meanwhile, Camilla's popularity seemed to dwindle, isolating her even more from the royal inner circle. When Catherine made her return, she came back with stronger ambitions, more influence, and clearer control over court life. As the Princess of Wales, she had a significant impact, especially when it came to making important decisions. Meanwhile, Queen Camilla has been doing everything she can to secure her place in the royal family, from setting up charitable foundations to attending public events and ceremonies. However, despite her efforts, many royal family members still can't stand her, seeing her as overly ambitious and arrogant as she tries to position herself in royal politics. One of her more controversial moves was securing knighthood titles for her son Tom, which led to negative reactions from both the royal family and the British public. Many still hold a grudge against her due to her past involvement in the breakdown of Princess Diana's marriage to Charles and the ongoing tension with Prince Harry after his exit from the royal family. But Camilla's feuds with Harry and Catherine aren't the only ones on her plate. She's also got a bit of envy brewing towards Prince William, especially after King Charles made a new appointment. In a surprising move, Charles gave William the title of Colonel-in-Chief of the Army Air Corps, a position the king had held for 32 years. This was controversial because Prince Harry had a much closer connection to the Army Air Corps. He trained as an Apache helicopter pilot in 2009 and served with the Corps during his second tour in Afghanistan from 2012 to 2013. Over his 10 years of service, Harry became known as Captain Harry Wales, even earning the title of Best Front Seat Pilot from the British Ministry of Defence in 2012, beating out more than 20 of his fellow Apache helicopter pilots. This move, which seemed to favor William, stirred up even more tension within the family. While William didn't serve with the Army Air Corps like Harry, he's far from lacking in pilot experience. He was a Royal Air Force rescue pilot, and from 2015 to 2017 he worked as a full-time pilot with the East Anglian Air Ambulance. King Charles even highlighted this in his speech at the ceremony, saying, The great thing is he's a very good pilot indeed, which he found encouraging. Charles expressed his hopes that William would go from strength to strength as Colonel-in-Chief of the Army Air Corps, with William stepping up to support the future of the position. Interestingly, William could have reminded his father that the role would traditionally have gone to Harry, but he chose not to. This might have something to do with the Sussexes stepping down from royal duties. According to a recent article from The Express, King Charles held a private gathering at his Scottish home to discuss the future of the royal family. During this conversation, Harry and Meghan were a topic of discussion. It's said that Charles focused on the younger members of the family and their role in moving the monarchy forward. Sources close to the palace have shared that the royal family plans to shift its attention away from the Sussexes and focus on the younger generation instead. King Charles is very aware that the future of the monarchy lies with them, and his priority now is to ensure that its legacy continues long after he's gone. Amid all the royal tensions, it seems that Queen Camilla's influence is being overshadowed in unexpected ways. One of the most notable developments was Prince William's reported decision to remove Camilla's sister, Annabel Elliot, from the royal payroll. Annabel, who had worked with the royal family for 2 decades as an interior designer, had been employed under King Charles when he was the Prince of Wales. However, for the first time, she was not compensated for her services during the fiscal year 2023-24, according to the latest Duchy of Cornwall accounts. This decision didn't sit well with Camilla, and rumors have circulated that King Charles may also remove royal funds that have traditionally been provided to Camilla's son. This has fueled tensions within the royal family, with some speculating that these moves are part of a broader shift in power dynamics. Further complicating things is the growing friction between Queen Camilla and Lady Louise Windsor, Prince Edward and Sophie, Countess of Wessex's daughter. Lady Louise, who has largely remained out of the royal spotlight, seems to be increasingly in the public eye. Some sources suggest that Queen Camilla may view Lady Louise's growing prominence as a potential challenge to her own legacy. Louise has long been seen as a popular figure within the royal family, partly due to her relative youth, grace, and connection to both her parents' quieter roles and the more traditional royal image. However, with rumors swirling about Camilla's displeasure with her, it raises the question: is Lady Louise inadvertently positioning herself to overshadow the Queen? Or is this simply a matter of youthful ambition meeting established royal expectations? The tensions are rising, and it remains to be seen how these rivalries will play out in the coming years. Lady Louise Windsor's growing ambition has certainly caught the attention of the royal family, and it's raising some intriguing questions about her future role within the monarchy. At just 20 years old, Louise has expressed a strong desire to serve in the military, which would make her the first female royal to do so since her grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II. Louise's dedication to the military, including her involvement with the Officer Training Corps at St. Andrews University, reflects her deep commitment to public service and her interest in pursuing a career in military diplomacy or law. This shift in Louise's focus, however, appears to have caused some tension within the royal family, particularly with Queen Camilla. While King Charles has supported his daughter's ambitions, even suggesting that Louise be granted the HRH title, Queen Camilla seems to have reservations. The Queen may feel that Louise's rising prominence, particularly in light of her dedication and her connection to the military, could be seen as overshadowing her own position within the royal family. This, coupled with the public and private support from King Charles, has led to speculation that Queen Camilla may feel somewhat threatened by Louise's growing role. Moreover, Louise's decision to pursue a life of service, despite technically being entitled to a higher title, highlights her desire for a more humble and purpose-driven path. Her work as a cadet, her previous jobs at a garden center and as a waitress, as well as her current volunteering with an education charity, show her dedication to real-world experiences rather than relying on royal status. This grounded approach could be viewed as a refreshing change from the often scrutinized lives of the senior royals. Yet it may also create unease among those who are already navigating the complex web of royal hierarchy and influence. As Lady Louise moves closer to completing her degree and potentially launching her career, her relationship with her family, especially Queen Camilla, will continue to evolve. The royal family's future may well be shaped by these undercurrents of ambition, rivalry, and support, all of which will likely play a significant role in defining the monarchy's next generation.